Soundpaint 4.5, it's all about time. We're finally delivering the single most requested feature in the history of Soundpaint, which is simply full, rich DAW synchronization. This has honestly been a massive and, for the most part, humbling undertaking. It's been taking us several man-years of full-time development and countless iterations to finally crack the code of how to do this. But we are incredibly proud of the end result. Meet the new and free Rack Time Pro module. Time Pro is an ultra-high-res time stretcher, efficient enough to handle up to about 100 voices per CPU core on a modern M series. In other words, if any part has a BPM number in it, it now locks perfectly to your DAW. But you know, we didn't just want to set time free, we did the same to pitch. So you now have total independence. You can stretch time without affecting pitch, or you can use the new Rack Pitch module here to shift pitch but without affecting time. You can also control the same pitch directly from the time stretcher inside of Rack Time Pro. And under the hood, 4.5 also brings deep optimizations for numerous DAWs, including Logic, S1, FL Studio, Ableton, and others. And overall, just an even smoother engine performance, and we've done some improvements to our downloader. This is undoubtedly our most requested feature, and it's the best time stretcher I've ever heard or tried in the sampler. And you know, it is free. Let me show what all the fuss is about. Meet our new Rack Time Pro. With the new Time Pro module, you get complete control over time. Part mode enables you to time stretch your parts freely. Switching to DAW Sync Mode lets you sync the BPM of your parts directly to your DAW's tempo. You can also time stretch up to 8 parts independently, or click the chain icon here to link your parts together. Here, you'll see a drop-down of the most common pre-calculated BPM values. Or if you need something specific, you can always type in any custom BPM you want. Time is full in your hands. Now, let's see this baby in action. So in Soundpaint 4.5, we have 2 new racks. If you click here on the racks module, we'll notice that we have pitch, and then we have Time Pro as well, which is our new high-res time stretcher. Let me just load a patch here while I describe it. The first thing we notice with Time Pro is that we have 8 individual time stretchers, 1 per part. The numbers up here corresponds to every single part, meaning that we can have independent time stretching and tempo synchronization for every single part in Soundpaint here. Now, I like to say that there's 3 different ways we can control time in Time Pro. We'll notice that it always says part here and then a number here. This number here displays the BPM value of the part. So you'll notice here for all these different parts here that there's a number and then it states BPM. That way the engine knows the exact BPM of the part. And if you look up here, you'll see that we're at 130, so the native tempo for the part. But let's say that we want to play this like, say, 25% faster. You can click here and get a drop down of the most common methods for time stretching. Say, for example, we want to go down like to minus 25% of the original time. Or we can go like 25% faster than the root. So you'll notice the root here, 130 still, is always going to display that so you know what the native tempo is. And now we're at 162.5. You can also insert a custom tempo by clicking here and typing in your desired tempo. We can also control time independently down here. This is sort of a freestyling way of doing it. Let's say that we want some exotic like 67% of native tempo. So again, it says 130 here, but now we're down to like 86.8. We can click down here to synchronize it to the DAW. So first just playing natively at 130. We're in DAW Sync Mode here. And the number in here corresponds to the DAW. And if you change the BPM in the DAW, you're going to see that reflected here in the numbers. So for example, we're playing 130 right now. But if you notice up here, we're going to go down to 110 now, which is also reflected over here. Now let's try to beef it up to like 150 BPM instead. You gotta love these scoring strings. But let's try to push it even further, taking it all the way down to 40 BPM. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning, we have independent time stretching per part. So in this case here, I took two different parts and I panned them hard left and hard right, so you can really hear what's going on. What I'm doing is to take two different parts, but adding the time stretcher to them and then just synchronizing them. So you can do these very sort of complex polyrhythms. The native tempo for both parts is 130. But we'll notice down here that the DAW is running at 115. So first I'm going to play the individual parts. Now, because both of them are tempo synced, we'll notice that the chain is on here, meaning that they're all syncing together. We can now combine both of them together and see what that sounds like. A good way to demonstrate time stretchers is on runs. In this case here, we got our new scoring violins playing runs both up and down. So part 1 is going up and part 2 is going down. So at root tempo, they sound like. But let's say, for example, we want to take part 2 here. Maybe I want it to play like 25% faster. And because everything is so tight and synchronized, you can create these beautiful cascading polyrhythms. Now, the runs are natively running at 130 BPM. But in this case here, we're down to 90. I'm going to take the second part here and make it a little bit faster. So we're going to have runs in two different tempos playing together at 90 BPM. But we don't just have to synchronize elements from the same library. For example, up here, we have violins runs coming from our new scoring strings, playing at 130 BPM. And then we've got a mandolin strummer over here playing at 100 BPM. We got the chain on here, so everything is synced together. Notice here when I click on the two different parts that the tempo here in the part will shift. We know it's 130 for part 1, and we know it's 100 for part 2, but I'm going to set it to DAW sync here, so they're both synchronized at 115. First the strings, and then the guitar, and then combined. It's pretty wild. We're going to be using time stretch and offset combined. First, I'll play this dobro in its natural condition, and then we're going to start messing it up with offset. So the native tempo for this guy here is 75. Let's try to go over here and open this guy up here. The tempo now is natively 90, so we're already stretching the sound. But if you look here on the offset, you'll notice that we chopped up a significant part of it, so it's going to sound notably different. So we'll notice that we are 1.4 seconds into the waveform here, and we're time stretching at the same time. Now, one thing is to control time, but the other thing is to control pitch. And we can do that independently. Let me just play a single phrase here without affecting pitch, and then show you what we can do with it. Now, let's take the tempo up to 110, and let's go -12 on the pitch here. So it's going to be an octave below, but again, it's not going to be affected by time. I like to say that time is also texture. In this next example, you're going to see me just gradually move up the BPM knob here and just notice how different this sort of shaky percussive sound sounds. Time is indeed texture. If you're into orchestral mockups or sort of precision for your writing, it may be that you have short notes that aren't exactly what you want them to be. That's resolved now with Time Stretcher. Now, this short note has a certain length, so I can't really play it too fast, but if I wanted to play it faster, for example like this, I'm going to beef it up here to, let's say, 1.5. And we can push it further. Let's go all the way up to like X2 here. And it goes the other way as well. So we're going to go all the way from 2x down to 0.75. It's really endless what we can do with time, what we can do with offset, what we can do with color, and all the different options in the engine. Here's Time Pro on our majestic brass ensemble. I'm going to be playing it first at normal tempo, then we'll play it twice as fast, and then we'll go down to -50% of its original recording tempo. And twice as fast. And now all the way down here to 0.5.